Become an immigrant and win at life. So today's video is basically mentality, okay? I met this one really cool guy from Nigeria who has been in Canada for like 2 years. And he was telling me about the difference between the immigrant mindset and people like myself, for example, who are born here in Canada with parents who are immigrants. And the key thing that I took away from this guy was the drive and the hunger he has to constantly keep learning, to not take no for an answer. And one of the things that he was talking about as the pretty much overall sentiment here right now in Canada is the lack of jobs that people talk about. So currently I'm working remotely. I was able to get a job, and that was because I took it upon myself to pursue, like without even like any breaks, always applying all the time, okay? And trying different platforms, and not just sticking to Indeed.com like how most people do, right? Just doing the basic, the bare minimum, and expecting good results. And what he was telling me was that a lot of people that he comes across, right? Not to say it's black or white, right? Not everyone that's born here is lazy or whatever, but there is a kind of mentality that people come with from other countries to Canada or any other part in the West that you're in, if it's in the States or whether it's the UK, Australia, wherever it is. You always see newcomers running laps around people that grow up in the country that they're in, or they're either born there or spent most of their lives there. I'd say that I'm pretty successful in my life. I've done things, but again, I've seen guys that have come here literally within a year, even less than that, or just a short period of time, and just excel like super fast. One of the key things that he was talking about was networking, having a network. One thing that you'll notice is that when immigrants come to a new country, they'll find people who are from their own background, and they'll help each other out finding jobs. All right, finding jobs, getting leads on jobs, getting interviews, whatever it may be, but anything related to employment, how to better their finances, they'll find other people like them. So for example, here in Canada, we have the Chinese, we have the Sri Lankans, we have, for example, even within India, you have your own types of Indians, right? You have the Punjabis helping out their own. You got the people from Haryana, or like any single part of India, even the people in the southern part of India, like people who are like the Malayalam speaking peoples from Kerala. Everyone has their own group and works hard to find each other jobs, and just thinks about the other person. When you have other people here in Canada, right, if you want to compare people here who are more individualistic in their mindsets, they care more about themselves. If they do get a job, or even if there is another job opening, they'll generally try to keep it for themselves, and that's one thing that I've seen Nigerians excel in. They love to help each other out. They are really hard workers, and yeah, they excel wherever they're at. And that's why when I met that guy, it didn't surprise me, because I already know this mindset. I've seen a lot of my Nigerian friends that I've met who, this guy in particular, never went to school for computer science, but was able to get a software engineering job because he learned how to code by himself, right? And he was telling me how his partner is a doctor, like a newly, his partner was a doctor back home, and when she came to Canada, she worked hard to kind of transfer, I think whatever she had to transfer to, I guess educate herself with the Canadian system, and was able to become a doctor here. I'm not sure what kind of type, he didn't really elaborate too much into that, but he told me that's what she's doing. And he said that she's surpassing him in income. So it lit the fire in him to push himself. He said, in our culture, he said, right, in his Nigerian culture, in his culture, he says that the man obviously takes the lead, right? And again, people have different opinions about that, but I'm just talking about what he told me. And that's an amazing mindset to have, in the sense that seeing his partner doing well made him want to do even better so that he could support her and his potential kids in the future. That was where his mind was at. And he said that, as a man, right, from the culture that he comes from, he needs to pursue excellence, at a high level. Like, he has to always keep on trying to get a higher salary, trying to learn new skills that will help him get to a higher salary. So he wasn't even content of where he's at right now. He wants to do even better. He said that where he's at currently is great, but he wants to get into AI, maybe machine learning. So that mentality is the immigrant mentality. And that's why I titled this video, if you want to become successful in life, you have to become an immigrant up here in your mindset. That's the way that you will succeed in life. I've seen this for years now. And you see a lot of Canadians, right, and people in general talking down on people that come to Canada from all these different countries. You know, you can say what you want to say, right? But the one thing that you can't take away from them is the hustle. The hustle to get better, to find a better job, to improve their conditions in life, financially. All right? You'll have Canadians here who grew up here their whole lives and they're just renting or they're living with their parents. And then you have someone who just comes here within 5 years. He has a great, great living situation. He has like his own place, a nice job, even making 6 figures plus. And then you have people who are, like I said, who are from here, who grew up here their whole lives, and they don't have a pot to piss in. And that goes back to not being entitled, not feeling entitled. Yes, there are people who come here in different shady ways. That's another point, right? Of course. But I'm talking about the the sheer trajectory, like how they're able to just go from zero to, something within a short period of time. That's the key takeaway here. Don't just hate on the next man. Don't see someone who just came to Canada, came to the US, even in Mexico, not Mexico, in the US, looking at Mexicans who come to the US. Look at their work ethic. Look at how hard they work when they come to the US. All the jobs that most people in the US don't want to do, they do it, right? Again, this is outside of the political views. I'm not talking about politics here. I'm talking about work ethic and mentality. That's all I'm talking about here. Everyone knows that wherever you go in construction, you got Latinos working there and they're working their butts off. And within a few years, they're buying their own house. Their financial situation's amazing. They're bringing their family over. They're taking care of a whole entire family. Okay? And then you got guys who are, like I said, who grew up here or grew up in the States complaining about not being able to afford even living in an apartment, even renting. Again, the key takeaways that I see from this is building a network, the importance of having a network. If you're from a certain culture, ethnicity, utilize that. That's why, for example, when someone's working in real estate, they usually go to their own ethnicity first, okay? If you're Chinese, you would go and try to find Chinese clients. So in Toronto, there's a certain area where you'll find more Chinese people, and real estate agents will target those people to get more clients, to make more money. And then they'll branch out and obviously work with other ethnicities, of course. Same thing goes for Sri Lankans to do the same thing here, right? Or Indians, or Latinos. It doesn't matter where you're from, but you have to, try to tap into your own culture. And if not, and if you don't happen to fall into any category like that has a strong community in that kind of way, try to find other people, like-minded people who may have grown up here in Canada or the US or the UK, and try to find people who are on the same page, who have the same goals, who want to better their lives, right? Create a friend group of like-minded individuals like that. And that way you'll succeed. People that will keep you accountable. And you also got to keep yourself accountable, right? I mean, yeah, obviously, it's great to have that person there to push you to do better, but you got to push yourself. Because most of these guys that I'm meeting that are coming here to Canada, fresh off, like just fresh off the plane, whatever, they're busting their asses off with just by themselves. But also, obviously, it comes within first, and then you got to branch out and find people that will also assist you. Not being afraid to push yourself to talk to someone else. I know these days everyone is afraid, has social anxiety. COVID wasn't helpful in that, but yeah, like people these days are afraid to talk to other people, but you got to push yourself to do that. Traveling does that for you, okay? As I said in the prior video I made, traveling to Thailand last year, being able to meet new people, put myself out there, right? Networking. I was able to get opportunities, find freelance work that I would not have found if I didn't make those connections. Because my previous history was in digital marketing, copywriting, and obviously, like I said before, I studied and I've continued to study software development, front end, more specifically at the moment. Also, sorry, I'm kind of becoming full stack, but yeah, that's where I started at. So just look, this video is all over the place, but I just want you to kind of get the gist of this. Is just change up here. Don't hate too much on other people. Just take what you can see, what they're doing that's working, and apply it to your own life. That's it. Anyways, this video is going longer than I expected. If you like this video, if you like this kind of content, subscribe. If not, it's all good. I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.